Introducing The Carpet. The Carpet is a current affairs talk show that discusses topical issues from all walks of life. My name is Otache and I am the explainer-in-chief. The Carpet features intensive interactions with newsmakers and those who matter. The Carpet is exclusive to NSTV and airs weekly to educate and keep you enlightened on developments in our society, with critical analysis by key industry players and our investigative crack team. On The Carpet, every issue is valid, from politics, sports, finance, the economy, agriculture, trade, commerce, entertainment, and so much more. Tune in and stay locked onto NSTV on Fridays at 11 a.m. Follow The Carpet on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. The Carpet, simply simplifying the news. Hello and welcome to another edition of The Carpet. My name is Otache and I am your explainer-in-chief. The Carpet is that program that talks to you about everything from all walks of life, from politics, commerce, agriculture, entertainment, sports, and everything that comes in between. Today on The Carpet, we will be hosting Honorable Architect Abubakar Suleiman, Gomna, a first-time member of the Niger State House of Assembly. He was the chairman, Bosso local government area of Niger State, and today he graces The Carpet Studios. Honorable, thank you for coming on The Carpet.
Thank you very much for this opportunity to be here.
Now let's get started. Before the elections and before your ascension into the Niger State House of Assembly, you were chairman of Bosso local government. Give us an appraisal of your performance at that time.
Well, yes, just like you've given a little preamble about myself, I was elected as chairman of Bosso local government on the 12th of December 2019, and that spanned to December 2022, meaning that I had 3 years stewardship as chairman of Bosso local government. Of course, I came into office when averagely, perception had last year's of government a place where practically as if there's no hope. So first and foremost, we had to build in confidence in people that this is a new government coming on board. People should have the faith that it is a major tier of government, that it is even the closest to the people. So in building that confidence was one thing for us to contend with, because like I said in the past, people's perception over the local government administration was almost at the verge of not being in that system. Of course, coming in with such conditions, you should know that we're saddled with so many responsibilities. We have to see how we generate IGR for the local government. This becomes practically very, very important because today in Nigeria, virtually everybody relies on the federal allocation. And as any government who wants to make a difference, you must devise ways to see how to improve the IGR of the local government. I can tell you that when I came, practically the local government was not generating something beyond 500,000 perhaps weekly. But of course, I can tell you before I left office, that IGR was increased to almost 2 million. So by and large, that was one area that I could even, my own judge myself, to have done very, very well. Now, when you take, don't forget the local government that I was a chairman, it was mostly rural based, and definitely you should know that things like social amenities became very, very important, that we had to give attention. When I came into office, the first 3 months, of course, it was troubling for us. How do we even get ourselves stabilized. First thing first, we have to assess the water system of the local government. I'll tell you, the first assessment, we had over 300 broken down boreholes. Now, the sense of reasoning came that, okay, what would be, what do we enjoy bringing new ones when the existing ones were not functional? So we had to revive in the first 100 days in office about 190 something boreholes were reactivated and then put into use. And then before we left office, of course, we had calls to equally drill more motorized ones and even hand ones. Now, in that area of IGR, I told you, Bosso local government, by virtue of its location and then by virtue of its agricultural nature, today in Niger State, it is one of the local governments that produces yam. I think authoritatively, I can tell you in Niger State, Bosso local government, if not the first two, should be ranked in the third in production of yam, because we have two major yam markets, that is the Beji market and the Garatu market. Now, of course, successive government have been able to build that of the Beji. We were left with that of Garatu market. We had to deploy our resources to see how do we get a befitting, though the land was already there, but how do we get it first, how do we get it secured in the place, and then potable water and then public convenience. As I tell you, as I speak with you today, the people are using that markets as it stands today. And now, pockets of insecurity was one other area that we had to contend with because of its gross metropolitan nature, and then activities while we were there, some part of the local government were being ravaged to some extent, even though not too pronounced, but pockets of attacks of banditry activities were already, synonymous with Bosso local government. In that area, we had to strategize with security apparatus to see how such things were being covered. Of course, these were security issues that one would not want to discuss on camera, but by and large, we deployed so much resources in that regard. And then in the area of education, we had to look at how do we do it. Yes, infrastructural wise, we couldn't build structures, but then we had to improve the quality of the educational system. You will believe that most public schools hardly participate in these extracurricular activities. But when we came on board, the first thing we had to do is how do these our children compete favorably with others across the states and even beyond. So we had to register them and then engage them in other debates and quiz competition. While I was in the office, I tell you authoritatively that Bosso local government came first in one of the quiz competitions.
Now, would you say all of these achievements are the reasons why the people of Bosso voted you into the House of Assembly?
Yes, when I say that, it's as if I'm blowing my own trumpet, but then
you should. It's yours.
But definitely, yes, that is very, very obvious. It's very, very difficult for you to transit from chairmanship to another position. I think if not this is the first, I doubt if in the history of the local government anybody has been able to break that jinx. That is, you are leaving the council and then you're moving forward. I think this is first of its kind. And then one could attribute that to his resilience to understand that politics is all about people, politics is all about going closer to people. And don't forget the challenges that came with even the elections. While I was contesting, we had to do primaries more than 3 times and repeatedly won. So I see that as a clear indication that we didn't disconnect with them.
Okay, well, that sounds really good. But while you were chairman, it was your first time
Yes.
being chairman, you had 3 years. You
Yes.
had the option to go for another 3 years.
Yes.
Why did you opt to step up to the House of Assembly?
Well, that was not deliberate per se. You see, the average perception of many politicians is staying beyond, taking undue advantage, and what sort of. Of course, Bosso local government is divided into 3 zones. We have the zone A, the zone B. What practically played out was the zone I come from, the government before me, the person was from that zone. So naturally, or in a way, coming in as first timer was like to finish the tenure of the other person from my own zone, even though the people gave me the mandate again to go for the second time. But I felt that was a ground for me to be closer to people, to get to know what their problems are. And then I decided to go for the assembly, haven't known what the problems of the people are, and then I felt going to the assembly would have given me another opportunity to serve them better. Don't forget, the assembly is all about lawmaking, and then you find out that there are certain things that no matter how you want them to happen, once they are not, once they don't become law, or once you don't go to repeal laws that you think are not in tenant with realities, hardly will your people be able to enjoy dividend of democracy.
Like you said earlier, there was this tussle
Yes.
that happened during the primaries,
Yes.
leading to the elections, and
Yes.
this was between you and the immediate past member
Yeah.
who represented Bosso in the State House of Assembly.
Yes.
Now, today, talk to us. What is the status of your relationship with him?
Well, don't forget that was the internal party primaries that ordinarily for every right-thinking person, once you go into primaries, after then you become practically the same. And so this was not different from what has been happening. Yes, we went into primaries. He's a brother, he's a friend. 3 times, of course, I won all the elections. That does not mean it was a war. It was a common party primaries. As I speak with you, we're still in the same party, and our relationship, as far as I'm concerned, is cordial.
You know, let's talk about the people who voted you in.
Yes.
The people of Bosso.
Yes.
They brought you to represent them in the 10th Assembly
Yeah.
in the state. Now, what are you bringing to the table?
Well, like I said, being a chairman in the 3 years back has really prepared one to go into the assembly and to go and make a difference. Let me practically give you one example. At any time I sit down, I think that certain laws need to be repealed, or certain laws need to be amended as far as Niger State is concerned. Today in Niger State, changing the local government, that the Bosso local government is the next local government to be enjoying a certain percentage from FAC. It was a law that once money comes into Niger State, the 25 local government, they give changing the local government a certain percentage because of its metropolitan nature. That is to add value to all the pressure of infrastructural development, and then coping with metropolitan activities. Now, arguable, one would say that today, once you talk of the state capital, you cannot speak, you cannot talk without talking about Bosso local government. Now we feel we should equally have a bite on this percentage, because when you look at it practically, the pressure exerted in Bosso local government is no longer bearable for the local government to contend with, and you can only enjoy such percentage if such laws are being revisited. And then so many of such issues are there. You know, when you're talking on the development plan and what have you. If you talk of the development plan without involving also local government, you haven't started. And so those are part of the things that we said when we get there, we'll be able to revisit some of these laws that we know also local government should have a stake. And then what are those things that, again, we have to bring on board, we have to lobby it to get our people to benefit. Don't forget, like I said, today in Niger State, I will tell you that most of the federal parastatals in Niger State are either in Bosso local government or Bida to some. I think the next local government that competes with Bosso local government is Bida local government. Now we check the Federal University of Technology, 2 campuses at Bosso local government. River Basin is in Bosso local government. Air Force Base is in Bosso local government. The airport is in Bosso local government. Tradog is in. So many of these parastatals, they are agreed that their socio-economic activities in a way have some positive economic value to the local government. But in turn, it's laughable when I tell you that you go to NECO and check some of these staffs that from level 0 to 6 ordinarily that are supposed to be they're supposed to patronize the local government because of its presence in that place. All these things are lacking. And so these are some of the things that we really want to come and see how do we partner with our federal lawmakers to see how we really, check some of these things so that our people, the sacrifice our parents, our forefathers have done with lands, what are we in turn getting in those sacrifices? And so many of those windows that I know are there, that by the grace of God, once they are harnessed, it's going to be for economic, social, cultural, and so many other advantages to the local community.
There's so much for us to talk about, but let's go on a break. And then when we get back, we'll talk more. This is The Carpet. Stay tuned. Introducing The Carpet. The Carpet is a current affairs talk show that discusses topical issues from all walks of life. My name is Otache, and I am the explainer-in-chief. The Carpet features intensive interactions with newsmakers and those who matter. The Carpet is exclusive to NSTV and airs weekly to educate and keep you enlightened on developments in our society with critical analysis by key industry players and our investigative crack team. On The Carpet, every issue is valid, from politics, sports, finance, the economy, agriculture, trade, commerce, entertainment, and so much more. Tune in and stay locked onto NSTV on Fridays at 11 a.m. Follow The Carpet on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. The Carpet, simply simplifying the news. If you're just joining us, this is The Carpet, and you're welcome back if you've been here with us. My name is Otachi, and today on The Carpet, we're hosting the member representing Bosso local government in the 10th House of Assembly in Niger State, Architect Honorable Abubakar Suleiman Gomna. Thank you for staying with us on the program. Now, we're talking before we went on the break. Now, let's take it a notch higher. You are the member representing Bosso. From Bosso, there's a chairman, a commissioner, of course, in the executive. There's a chairman of the local government, and there are a few other stakeholders. How are you working collaboratively to bring out the best for the people of Bosso local government?
Well, don't forget, Bosso is one local government that when you check the people there, they are closely related by blood. That by extension means almost from the same lineage. And then that means whatsoever we are doing, we they must do it harmoniously, because the average Bossolite should put the local government first. So in such doing, whatever you want to achieve, you can hardly achieve that in isolation of others. So it then means that for you to have a very, very good, robust, very good results, you must have a very, very good and then robust relationship with other stakeholders. Of course, in such doing, you must operate an open door policy in the first place, where you make people to be very, very accessible to. And then in such doing, you will equally be quick to roll down some of your policies, so that once people are intended with whatsoever you intend to do or what you are doing, they can quickly criticize or advise where necessary. And so in such doing, you must bring everybody along. Like you said, you must carry the critical stakeholders. By critical stakeholders, we mean the elected chairman, the council chairman, the commissioner, and even the translational institution. They are the custodian of the culture and the core value of the people. So whatsoever you are doing, you must carry them along, so that at the end, you will be able to be rest assured that whatever policy you are doing, it's for the people and not just for yourself. And so once such is done, I think we need to go with it.
Now, let's come into the assembly.
Yes.
Before the inaugurations, you guys went for retreats, induction, and it feels like there's a harmonious working relationship amongst you as colleagues. And it looks like there would be a good working relationship with the executive. Now, in a lot of quarters, people thought that the 9th Assembly was very rubber stamp-like. Do we see a rubber stamp assembly coming into the 10th one?
Well, arguable, I will say this 10th Assembly, we have a crop of young men that are full of energy, that you could see the readiness to go and do what or why they were voted in as lawmakers. And then, of course, because they are young, very, very energetic. I think for the first time, those about 2 members are returning out of 27. It means that it's going to be more of a brand new House of Assembly as a whole. Now, that is not just the reason, because in any election where best hands are fished out from the local government, definitely the output is usually going to be something that is palatable. Now, at the course of that retreat, the anxiousness of every average member could speak that by the special grace of God, this 10th Assembly in Niger State is going to we are very, very optimistic that there will be light at the end of the tunnel, because of course the governor himself, don't forget, he's coming from the legislature. He has been a member of the Federal House of Representatives for 3 times. It then means that he will have no option than to have respect for the House of Assembly, haven't come from that angle. And of course, he's equally a young man full of energy, and then that is why everybody is very, very optimistic that the relationship is going to be robust. And then I can tell you authoritatively that no matter how cordial the relationship is going to be, it does not really mean that this assembly will in any way be rubber stamp, because of course we have said it in times about different fora that in most cases superior arguments will always take the order of the day. Because of some interactions with even His Excellency the Governor, he has times without number equally said that in anything he will be doing, he will reliably depend on what will be coming from the assembly. And then he has said it equally times without number that superior argument will always prevail. Anywhere he knows his own decisions are being challenged with better view and better constructive points, he has said he will give it. So honestly, with the group of people we have who are this 10%, I know Niger State will surely going to have qualitative assembly that at the end of the day they can beat their chest and then they will not regret the caliber of people that are in assembly.
There are issues that were raised during the 9%, and these issues never saw the light of the day. Is there a possibility of some of these issues being brought back into the 10th Assembly? Take, for instance, the issue of missing tractors.
Well, you see, governance entirely or generally, it's supposed to be a continuous process. And then, if in any way don't, not just that as well, you are just giving one out of so many of those examples. Even if anything is a law already being passed and being assented to by the state governor, it does not really mean that issues like that cannot be revisited. And that is why the constitutions allow the amendment of this law. That is, in any time you make laws and you see those laws are in shortfall of realities, you see that those laws are no longer tenable with the realities. Definitely, such things need to be revisited. The tractor issue is so funny, and then that up to this moment, even when everything was before the assembly, with all the committees set in place, as we speak with you, we have not had any concrete reports, to have really revealed the status quo, to have revealed what the situation is all about. And then pockets of such things that, of course, definitely, when we peep into them and see that the public interest or the publics are not, they are not satisfied whether by the actions or the reports, it does not mean that such things will not be visible. Because the idea, without prejudice, we make laws for Niger State, for betterment of the state.
Now, Honorable Architect Abubakar Suleiman, very soon, you will all be in office, and you'll be in the chambers. Yet, now, let me put this to you. Are you going for any elected position in the State House of Assembly?
Well,
any of the leadership positions?
I want it to come during the inauguration. I want to be at the plenary so that I don't let the cat out of the bag. Until we are inaugurated, until we are in plenary, until I see my colleagues in the inauguration, seeing ourselves officially taking the oath of office as members, that is when I will let the cat out of the bag.
Well, that sounds like we should see the speaker from Bosso local government.
No. You see, when you check, when you look at it practically, even though it is not constitutional, it is a gentleman's agreement. The speakership definitely, I understand, will be going to a particular zone that I do not belong. So the idea of a speakership is already overruled. And like I said, even though it's not constitutional, it's a gentleman's agreement within the party forms. But all the same, that does not mean that anything can still happen.
Well, now let's move from your chambers and move into the administrative part of the state.
Yes.
Bago is also a newcomer
Yes.
into the space of government.
Yes.
What do you think of the administration?
Well, like I said, Bago is one person that once you see him, once you sit down with him, once you talk with him, you begin to believe there's hope for Niger State. For one reason or two, he's a young man, equally full of energy. He has been in the political space for the past 12, 13 years. And then for somebody to consecutively represent his people for 3 consecutive terms, it speaks volume. It shows relatively how articulated and how focused such person is. So we know, or we see hope in him because, like I said, any moment you sit down with him, his actions, his activities, his wordings gives you hope that he's going to be better off. He's going to work for Niger State. So ours is complementary as lawmakers. Of course, and no matter how he wants to do it, these things must be done within the ambit of the law. And then we must oversight. Being a governor, no matter how good you are, you must have lieutenants that will be carrying out your wishes. And that is the first thing that he will be saddled with, bringing in commissioners that will be very, very capable, to man respective ministries that are saddled with certain responsibilities. And in such doing, of course, don't forget, such confirmation of those commissioners are the sole constitutional responsibilities of the House of Assembly. And then it is equally the sole constitutional responsibility of the Assembly to oversight the activities of the executives. So, and so, like I said, because he was once a lawmaker, we see that if he complements his experience as a lawmaker and then allowing the Assembly to do their constitutional responsibilities, I can assure you that Niger State will be great.
Okay, well, if you're just joining us, this is The Carpet. And on The Carpet today, we're hosting Honorable Architect Abubakar Suleiman, Gomna, a member representing Bosso in the Niger State House of Assembly. We'll take a break and we'll be right back. Stay with us.
Introducing The Carpet. The Carpet is a current affairs talk show that discusses topical issues from all walks of life. My name is Otache, and I am the explainer-in-chief. The Carpet features intensive interactions with newsmakers and those who matter. The Carpet is exclusive to NSTV and airs weekly to educate and keep you enlightened on developments in our society, with critical analysis by key industry players and our investigative crack team. On The Carpet, every issue is valid, from politics, sports, finance, the economy, agriculture, trade, commerce, entertainment, and so much more. Tune in and stay locked onto NSTV on Fridays at 11 a.m. Follow The Carpet on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. The Carpet, simply simplifying the news.
Welcome back. This is The Carpet. My name is Otache, your explainer-in-chief. And today, onto The Carpet is the member representing Bosso, the Niger State House of Assembly, Honorable Architect Abubakar Suleiman, Gomna. Now let's get back to the discussion. Before we went on the break, we were talking about what your thoughts are on the performance would be of the new governor of Niger State.
Yeah.
And you talked about the quality of lieutenants that he should have.
Yeah.
Now we've heard and seen some of the people that he has appointed, even though the commissioners are not yet. Of course, the House would need to think of that to confirm them.
Yeah.
But what's your take on the quality of people that he has appointed yet?
Well, so far so good. The first set of appointments, by virtue of their nature, are supposed to be people who he confides in, and then those are his rights, of appointment. So far so good. Like, if let's take them one after the other, the spokesperson he has appointed, I think he didn't just go to the street to bring him. This is one person who has worked in the NTA, who has gone through the ranks to a certain level in NTA. That means that that position, as far as I'm concerned, befits him, because this we're talking somebody who will go out there to speak to public, who will go out there to explain to the populace about the government. So in that regard, I think it's okay. And then when you see the chief of staff as appointed, chief of staff is supposed to be somebody who is very, very close to you, who will be able to discharge responsibilities as, you know, even when you smile, he already knows what is in his boss mind. And then picking his colleague who has been with him for over years in the assembly, I have no doubt that that appointment was okay. And then the most important one is the ranging room, that is the secretary to the state government. Of course, I've never met him, but when I read through his CV, it was so rich that he's versatile in his own choosing endeavor. I think he's an accountant by profession, and then he has walked through so many MDAs and so many ministries. And this is a position that you will be dealing with so many MDAs and ministries. So I see him with the first set of his appointments, so far so good. In my mind, without sentiment, without prejudice, I think he's getting it right. But of course, it's not yet over until it is over. Until and unless we see his cabinet. By cabinet, I mean the commissioners he will be presented to the House for confirmation. That is where the whole thing lies, because definitely, no matter how good you are as a governor, like I've said, you must have people who will be manning respective ministries for them to be able to discharge their responsibility. But of course, it will practically be funny when you carry somebody who probably is a musician, for instance. You take him to education, and then you have somebody who is grooming the educational sector. That would be a mistake. So we want him to settle down, to really scan through those people that he will be presenting as his commissioners, because definitely that will be the beginning of a success story.
Now, coming back to the relationship that you build between the executive and the legislature. 90 states, in its current state, that is now, this administration is coming in to inherit some massive debt that was left by the past administration. Do you see the House of Assembly standing up to the executive to ensure that some of these allegations of massive corruption that happened during the last administrations have been probed, and to help to see the possibility of rescuing some of this money that's been out?
Yes, the major constitutional responsibility or assignment of the Assembly is oversighting, like I've told you. If the executive, for any reasons, have at the cost of the transition, discover that anything was fishy, and then he felt that should be brought to the Assembly for thorough investigation. I can tell you that without wasting time going into such things, to be able to find out the realities. Of course, the budgeting system must come to the Assembly for approval before the executive having the opportunity to expend. Now, what matters most here, importantly, is for any good budget, once the capital expenditure is higher than a recurrent. That is adjudged to be a very good budgeting system. Now, once you provide capital funds in a project, you will be saddled with the responsibility of assessing those funds, and that becomes the sole responsibility of the assembly to oversight. Perhaps if you say, I want to build a stadium, it's 20 million, it's appropriated in the budget, and then the executive have assessed the 20 million. It is your duty to follow it to the latter to see the execution of such project. And so once these are in place, I can tell you that there will be no problem. So, but in this particularly, let me not derail, based on what you have said, if the government, for any reasons, or has felt that at the cost of accepting the transition document, anything was probably not done very well, or anything that is in doubt, I can tell you that once that is what this 10% will thoroughly do it, that the public will have an in-depth knowledge of what has really transpired.
Okay, let's move a little away from the state and go on the national stage.
Yes.
What's your take on the president's decision, or the president's words, 3 words actually, subsidy is gone, and the instant effect
Well,
it's having?
you see, politics aside, one good thing with Nigerian politicians is even when you know a policy is good, if such pronouncements are not from you, you begin to condemn them. You and I know that successive governments in this country have made several attempts to remove the subsidy. But of course, continued resistance, whether justly or unjustly, has always been the problem. Many will go to labor leaders, persuade them, engineer them to go contrary to the opinion of the government. I see this subsidy removal as the best for the Nigerian system. When you check, I was reading in a print media, the figure is what I'm not too sure of, but I know I saw it, that the payment of oil subsidy, the money they use in subsidizing what we're talking about in 2022 is far more than is less than what Dangote used to build this refinery. Now, when you make this comparative analysis, this entrepreneurial person has built a refinery with funds that is less than what a country is using to subsidize for it. What sense does that make? So it's, yes, agreed, Nigerians would have seen that very solid. The thing they will always tell you, there's no palliative measure to like pushing the effect. Take it, I remember when MTN and what I started coming. I bought my MTN line in those days, 14,000 when it first came. I went to Abuja to buy. Today, you see, because of the competition of all, MTN was the only before Econet of those days came. But with the relative competition in the telecom, or particularly the GSM sector, you buy a SIM card today of less than 1,000.
So, put it simply, in very few words,
Yes.
would you say subsidy regime was a scam?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, I see it as a scam, because when you check the obvious reality, how this money is, you begin to imagine where are this money going, and you have had in public appearances where people are telling you that they think is within certain cabals. So in a way, I even though I wasn't the one dispensing the money, rather or taking it or giving approval, but honestly, even if it was not a scam, it was over-exaggerated.
Okay, now we're running out of time. Let's move away from politics and work.
Yeah.
Abubakar Suleiman,
Yes.
what do you do in your leisure time?
Well, don't forget my background is architecture, which is basically construction. My leisure time, I still find time to go to sites. I do not just want to disconnect with the professional aspect of my life. Most times when I'm not doing anything too serious, I still go to sites. Then, don't equally forget architecture, which is basically construction. My leisure time, I still find time to go to sites. I do not just want to disconnect with the professional aspect of my life. Most times when I'm not doing anything too serious, I still go to sites. Then, don't equally forget farm. Real farming. Farming is still part of it. So, in most cases, when I'm not on site, I can be rest assured I'm on the farm.
Now let's talk about some of the awards that you've received. Because you can see that there's so many of them. Which is your favorite?
Well, the one that was my favorite was the Nigerian Institute of Architects, Niger State, presented me with an award. That was the one that I would adjudge as my favorite. Yes.
Well, thank you very much for your time, and thank you for coming on the carpet. It's been a pleasure, and we hope we could do this again. Well, if you've been listening to us and watching us, this is the carpet, and this is the much we can take on this episode. We've been speaking to Architect Honorable Abubakar Suleiman, the member representing Bosso local government in the 10th House of Assembly in Niger State. You can watch us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, or at the Carpet 001. My name is Otache, your explainer-in-chief. Let's do this again. Bye for now.
Introducing The Carpet. The Carpet is a current affairs talk show that discusses topical issues from all walks of life. My name is Otache, and I am the explainer-in-chief. The Carpet features intensive interactions with newsmakers and those who matter. The Carpet is exclusive to NSTV and airs weekly to educate and keep you enlightened on developments in our society with critical analysis by key industry players and our investigative crack team. On The Carpet, every issue is valid, from politics, sports, finance, the economy, agriculture, trade, commerce, entertainment, and so much more. Tune in and stay locked onto NSTV on Fridays at 11 a.m. Follow The Carpet on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. The Carpet, simply simplifying the news.
My name is Abubakar Suleiman, Gomna, member representing Bosso local government of Niger State. Keep watching The Carpet.